Have you ever wondered about the mysteries lurking in the deep ocean? Today, we're rediving into one of the most chilling enigmas of World War II, the story of the ghost U-boats. These were German submarines that sailed out on patrol and simply vanished. No distress call, no wreckage, no survivors. Just gone, swallowed by the sea, leaving behind nothing but questions. Throughout the war, Germany built over 1,000 U-boats. We know what happened to most of them. They were sunk by Allied warships, depth charges, or aircraft. Their fates are recorded in combat logs and historical records. But a significant number, dozens in fact, remain unaccounted for. Their final moments are a complete blank. What could have possibly happened to these steel sharks and their crews? Let's start with a famous case. U-47. This was the submarine commanded by the legendary Günther Prien, one of Germany's most celebrated U-boat aces. In October 1939, Prien audaciously snuck U-47 into the heavily defended British naval base at Scapa Flow and sank the battleship HMS Royal Oak. It was a massive propaganda victory for Germany. Prien and his crew became national heroes. But just over a year later, in March 1941, U-47 sent its last radio message and was never heard from again. For decades, the British Royal Navy claimed that the destroyer HMS Wolverine had sunk it. That was the official story, but post-war analysis of the records cast serious doubt on this. The location, the time, the type of attack, it just didn't quite add up. So if the Wolverine didn't get them, what did? One theory is that U-47 was sunk by one of its own torpedoes. Early German torpedoes were notoriously unreliable, sometimes running in a circle and coming back to hit the submarine that fired them. Imagine the horror of that moment, a self-inflicted end in the cold, dark Atlantic. Another possibility is a catastrophic mechanical failure. Submarines are incredibly complex machines operating under immense pressure. A tiny leak, a faulty valve, or a battery explosion could lead to disaster in seconds. The submarine could have plunged past its crush depth, the point where the water pressure becomes so great that the hull implodes for the crew. It would have been over in an instant, a terrifying, violent end with no chance of escape. And it wasn't just U-47. Take the case of U-791. This was a state-of-the-art Type XVIIB submarine, a prototype powered by a revolutionary Walter turbine engine that used hydrogen peroxide for fuel. It promised incredible underwater speed. U-791 was last seen in the Baltic Sea in 1945, and then it just disappeared. This wasn't a combat zone packed with enemy destroyers. It was relatively safe water. So what happened? The hydrogen peroxide fuel was extremely volatile and dangerous to handle. A small mistake could have caused a massive explosion, tearing the sub apart from the inside. Or maybe it was simply a tragic accident, a diving error that sent the experimental boat to the bottom before anyone knew what was happening. Let's talk about the environment itself. The ocean is a powerful and unforgiving force. These disappearances weren't just happening in the heavily patrolled North Atlantic. U-boats vanished in the Arctic, the Mediterranean, even the Caribbean. They could have hit uncharted sea mines, left over from previous conflicts, or laid in secret. A single mine could rip a submarine's hull open, sending it to the seabed in minutes. There's no time for a distress call, just a sudden, violent end. And then there are the rogue waves. These are massive, unpredictable waves, much larger than normal, that can appear out of nowhere, even in calm seas. For a submarine on the surface, especially a smaller coastal U-boat, being hit by one of these behemoths could be catastrophic. It could capsize the boat or cause so much damage that it sinks before the crew can even react. The ocean itself could have been the killer. Another eerie case is U-534. Okay, this one didn't technically vanish forever, but its story gives us a glimpse into what might have happened to others. It was sunk by a British aircraft in 1945, but it lay on the seabed off the coast of Denmark for almost 50 years before being raised in 1993. When they brought it to the surface, it was remarkably intact. This shows that a U-boat could sink and remain hidden on the ocean floor for decades, a perfectly preserved time capsule. Imagine how many other missing U-boats are out there right now, sitting silently in the deep, waiting to be found. The search for these lost submarines continues to this day. Marine archaeologists and shipwreck hunters, using advanced sonar and robotic submersibles, are constantly scanning the seabed. Every now and then they make a discovery. A few years ago, the wreck of U-576 was found off the coast of North Carolina, where it had lain undisturbed since 1942. It was found right next to the wreck of its last victim, the merchant ship Bluefield. Finding it helped solve a 70-year-old mystery, confirming the details of its final battle. But for every U-boat that is found, many more remain lost. Think about U-864, which was sunk off the coast of Norway. It was carrying a secret cargo of mercury destined for Japan. Its wreck was found, but it's considered too dangerous to move because of the toxic mercury still sealed inside. What secret missions or strange cargo might the other lost U-boats have been carrying? Some were rumored to be transporting high-ranking officials or looted treasures in the final days of the war. Desperate attempts to escape the fall of Germany. While most of these are likely just myths, it adds another layer of intrigue to the mystery. What's truly haunting is the human element. Each of these vanished submarines carried a crew of around 40 to 50 young men. They were sons, brothers, and husbands who said goodbye to their families and sailed into the unknown, never to return. For their loved ones back home, there was no closure, just a notification that the boat was overdue and presumed lost. They lived the rest of their lives wondering, hoping against hope, never knowing the final fate of their men. These stories aren't just about naval history or military hardware. They're ghost stories of the sea, tales of steel tombs resting in the crushing darkness of the abyss, holding their secrets tight. They remind us of the vastness and mystery of the ocean, and the fact that even in our modern age of technology, there are still places and events that are completely beyond our knowledge. The deep sea is the world's largest museum, and its most mysterious exhibits are these lost U-boats. What do you think happened to them? Was it faulty torpedoes, mechanical failures, freak accidents, or something else entirely? Every theory is plausible, but without finding the wrecks, we can never be certain. They remain one of the last great unsolved mysteries of the Second World War, a silent, chilling testament to the perils of the deep. Thanks so much for diving into this mystery with me today. If you enjoyed this journey into the depths, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from the unexplored corners of our world. And let me know in the comments which missing U-boat case you find the most fascinating. See you next time.